Hey, Lindsay. How you doing, love? Oh, I'm hanging in here. Hey, Alan. You all right? Good deal. Good deal. There. There. Is that a puppy on it? Christina? Lindsay saying, hey. She's over here on the couch. My bifocals don't work too hot. Is that a puppy? Turned one. My God. She's a Yorkie? Yeah. Hazel Grace. Is it around one eye darker than the other? Or is that just the way it's shaded? Hey, Lisa. Shaded. Hey, Paula. How y'all doing? Hanging in here, love. Uh,
May 2nd, 2025. Good evening. Tonight, the nation's heart is heavy as Nova Scotia.
well, we've missed you, love. We like you being here.
Scotia authorities revealed chilling new layers in a case that has stunned Canada and drawn international attention. The disappearance of 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack. On the morning of May 2nd, 2025, at precisely 10:01 a.m., their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, phoned 911 in panic. By 10:27 a.m., RCMP officers were on the scene. Yet in those brief 26 minutes, Lily and Jack had vanished, and even today, no confirmed trace of them has been found. This was supposed to be a normal spring day in the quiet rural community of Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. But instead of laughter and play, the silence of that home has become deafening. No broken windows, no sign of forced entry. No witnesses saw the children leave. It's as if the earth itself swallowed them whole. What makes this even more haunting is that just one day earlier, Lily and Jack appeared perfectly safe. According to RCMP affidavits now made public, surveillance footage from a local Dollarama captured the children shopping with their mother and stepfather, Daniel Martel. They smiled. They picked out toys. By every visible measure, life seemed normal. And yet within 24 hours, the unimaginable happened. Authorities launched one of the largest searches in Nova Scotia's history. Ground teams swept the woods, canines scoured nearby trails, officers canvassed door to door, but no cries for help were heard. No scent trail was found. According to the court filings, police dogs couldn't even pick up the children's hours leading up to their disappearance. Stay with us. because in the next segment, we'll break down those court filings, the pink blanket fibers found miles from home, the toll plaza footage, and the investigators' theory of what may have happened after that 10:01 a.m. call. Now, for the first time, the public is getting a closer look inside the investigation through newly unsealed RCMP court filings that shed light on what happened in those critical hours. According to the documents presented in court just days ago, investigators quietly pieced together a timeline that raises even more disturbing questions. First, a breakthrough came from traffic camera footage at a Nova Scotia toll plaza. It reportedly captured a vehicle matching the family's car passing through during the same time window Lily and Jack were last seen alive. The filings do not conclusively state who was driving, but prosecutors argued that this movement could be critical to retracing the children's final whereabouts. Second, those same filings confirm that officers recovered pieces of what appears to be Lily's pink blanket, discovered miles away from their home, deep inside a wooded area. DNA testing is ongoing, but the fact that fragments were found so far from where the children lived has investigators considering the possibility that someone transported them. Court statements also reference inconsistencies in household witness interviews. While no charges have been laid, the filings indicate police questioned the mother and stepfather multiple times.
I'm going to go ahead and call this person out right here, this Agent T. I don't know what it is. Agent T, whatever. I don't know where you're getting this kind of stuff. But putting things out there to keep things going like that, it's a shame. The only truth in that whole matter right there was about the kids getting taken somewhere. And they did all right. And however you got this put in here, I'm hearing things that I heard in the first month. Things like there've been no charges yet and all this crap. Well, yes, they have. So whatever you've added in here and how you got this edited makes no sense. Hey, Patricia. Bless you. Like I said, guys, even when this thing is solved, pretty much say, there's people still gonna say things like they haven't been found and all this mess. That they found another clue. But if you listen to it and go back to the first month of this, you'll hear the same person saying the same thing. So what they're doing is catching a little bit from this clip, a little bit from that clip, a little bit from this clip. Then they're making a video out of it. We know what has done been told, and we know for definite that, hey Savannah, we know for definite that they all knew and know what's going on. I just don't know exactly what RCMP is waiting on. And I don't know if RCMP is state or a county district. I don't know. And first of all, right off the top here, I can tell you that Jack has been found. And they may have even got DNA where Lily laid. This kind of stuff right here is just terrible to keep things going on and on and on. Solve the thing, figure it out. Bad as it is, give them some respect. You know, let these children at least be properly buried without people wanting to clam up junk to get views. All this right here is telling me is two things. For one, you don't care nothing about the children, and you're just doing it for views. Okay. So, like I said before, if you don't have something substantial and you can't back it up, don't upload it. Because that's just not only that's doing the public wrong, and apparently that's the only ones that cares about the kids is the public. But don't use these kids to shield behind to get views. That's a shame. Um, and tell you the truth, if it hadn't been for numbnuts and uh, Malaya turning their back on Daniel and Logan coming forth, that hit it, and they went where Logan said that he was, because he admitted that he helped Daniel move the body. Yes, everybody, hit that like button. Um, that's right. Everybody in the back, come on in. Come down here and be part of JSV. Um, I know some of you that are watching, just like three just jumped off just a second ago. But I'm gonna tell it like it is, and I don't care who likes it and who don't. Uh, like I said, some people like me for that, and some don't. But that's their problem. But when it comes to a child, I don't like no fooling around. If that makes me a bad person, then I'm just the worst person in the world. Uh, only thing I think probably was different from Jack and Lily is that he probably got the more of the beatings than she did, and I don't think they went through the trouble of really trying to bury her in a shallow grave like they did Jack. They probably just scattered some things over her and all this. Not about it. Easy for Alien. How you doing, love? Easy for prey out in the forest that way. Um, yeah. But I can see it clearly right here, and I can do it myself. And I'm not a good editor, but I can tell you this right here, and I can even do it for you. Show you the comparisons from what we heard in the first 2 weeks to a month in is right here saying it again, and the same female voice saying it again. So it'd take a little while, but I could do it. There's nothing substantial on that clip that's going to benefit these children. So just stop doing that. You know, um, they they deserve some respect. And what I mean by about Lily, they knowed she knowed too much, and Daniel couldn't stand her either. And I believe it had to be one of the boys because it was not. It was not, and I'll repeat again, it was not Malaya that took Lily's life. Now, I know that just as well as I'm sitting here. But now, Jax, yes, she did. And she's scared when she did it. She did it out of anger and just let the good Lord earn a new angel. Um, he did not fall down those stairs. They tried that crap. With Summer. We're going to talk about that tonight too. Both these children, and if it would have went on long enough, the baby would have been right in with a mix of it. Yeah. So I'm so glad that CPS took the kids. I mean, took Meadow. Yes, so many children. And well, with I, with what they've shown me, and the things that I hear is that she was given something to make her relax, and she convinced one of the boys, either Daniel or Logan, one or the other, to put a pillow over her face while she was asleep. Now, I'm sure she was very druggy, but I bet you a nickel if there was a way to get to her little hands, you could get some DNA out of it under her fingernails. Because her being 6 year old, you can bet your bottom dollar if she could have been awake at any split second in that moment, she would have fought back. At least try to move the hands. And the first thing a female, I don't care if it's a child, teen, woman, they're going to use them claws on you. And that's just common sense. And that's why they keep saying the word smother and pillow and things such as that. They couldn't leave someone that know too much. Not only the guys knew it, but Malaya did too. But Malaya was not able to do nothing like that. And when she did that to Jack, she was just frantic. And then she tried everything she could do to stage it. And the part about her saying that Lily went to the room with headbuds on,
Polly was a cracker.
and said she got up and wanted to know where Jack. I don't believe that neither. Um, I believe when they got back, they all sat down and she heard that they were all talking about what to do to get rid of the evidence. And I think that's where that came in at. And I think that's what Lily heard. Because she's the one that mentioned it. She said they all sat around and talked about it, how to get rid of the evidence. And the evidence was the kids. And she said also, she said, I knew they would do me like this. I bet they had to walk on eggshells around there. But people that's uploading stuff that's cut in fractions of stuff that is in the back in the past, leave that back there. Because only people that's gonna listen to any of that crap is people that just don't know no better. And like I said, you people can put up 1,000,000 of these things, and I still will not believe nobody but the children. I know Logan did a bad thing. He may have been the one that did it to Agenti that did that to Lily. Then again, it could have been Daniel that did it. Could have been Numbnuts. Who knows? Or Granny. But I know for a fact that Malaya did not take her life. I looked back over my papers and I listened to some of them sentences and said I needed mama, or mom. Said she wouldn't even look, or wouldn't even look, so she don't even want us, either of us. I guess they're happy now. We're not here anymore. And ain't that something for a 6-year-old child to have to say? This was uncalled for. It was premeditated. Now, Lily's part was for sure, but go on, another bug. Um, Lily, I believe, was what really broke them down because they really did not care nothing for Jack at all. And I believe everything has a reason. Sometimes, even though we don't know why, it ain't for us to know. Sometimes, even the Bible will tell you that there's things that will happen that you will not understand, and that he will get his number even if he has to take the life of a child. He's racking up on them, ain't he? But these children, they're pure, they're innocent, they don't know no better. And people are given a chance to have children. A lot of people can't have children and would be wonderful parents. But when you're on that old dope and junk, it just You freak out, you get mad, you do things that you normally wouldn't do. But this ain't the case with them. Being mean to them kids was the norm for them. Hollering and slapping and a hitting and a carrying on. And we heard plain as day from uh, Jack, choked and whipped. And even Summer jumped in. Somebody was trying to say he, and she said, said she did. But it don't make no difference. She's responsible for them children. Daniel living in that household, he's responsible for them children. Um, that's right. So putting things up like this right here that don't make a bit of sense because that was 2 or 3 months ago, don't do that. If you can't get new footage or something new to bring to the table, don't upload it. Waste your energy on something else that actually matters. Because when you choose clips and put it together and make one little video so people will watch it, it's not doing the children no justice. Why do you think the vile and corruption and the heartbreaking things are put out from time to time? And then we ask Jack and Lily about it. They either confirm it or they don't. If they don't, then you lied. Period. There was some reason why Lily didn't want to say where she was at, or yeah, where she was at, or who did it, or something. I don't know. I can't remember now, but I kept trying to get it out of her, and all she would talk about is Jack and Mom and Granny. Um, I mean, just don't do it. That's just sickening. And like I said, I just don't care who likes it and who don't. And it's pathetic that I done told you to get out of here. It's pathetic that other people around the world have to love your child and give and show more love to your child than you ever thought about doing. That's a shame. There's a lot of people make gestures and say this and say that and whatnot. We've caught them all in lies. We caught Daniel in every lie possible. I mean, he tried. Got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, criminal, at least they're going to try. Well, he tried and it didn't work. And he tried to. Now listen, daggum you. Quit! Get away from here! You getting my milk now? Knock you across the room.
But
What? I don't mind the miller bug. We need to wait. We need to wait till I get through my milk. Everything else is covered up. That thing. But what I was saying was, they, there's a reason for it. There's definitely a reason why Lily wouldn't speak of it. I don't know if it's maybe she just don't want to, in her mind, maybe get anybody in trouble or whatnot. Because believe it or not, no matter what you do to your children, they're so humble. They don't know no better. They still love you. They just don't understand why you did what you did to them. I've not ever worked a child before that didn't say the same things. I just don't know why they did it. But this was right opposite. She said, I know one day he would do this to us. They find Summer in the backyard. Well, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, too.
Me.
The
what?
town.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
On the second day of May, 2 children were reported missing from a rural property in Nova Scotia. The report came just before noon. The mother's voice was calm, too calm. She told dispatchers they'd been playing in the yard, and then they were gone. No sound, no struggle, no sign they'd ever left the property. Within hours, police arrived. By nightfall, the forest behind the house was lined with volunteers, search dogs, drones, and heat sensors. A full-scale search. Nothing was found. For 3 days, authorities moved inch by inch through 4 square kilometers of brush and swamp. For 3 weeks, interviews were conducted, phones examined, social media.
So let's think a minute. They've been people there from the media from day one for I don't know how long. Malaya did one, and then she did a online talk with somebody. I don't know who it was. But one of them, she said, she wasn't going to look for a damn thing, just like that. She thought that she could get out of there, go to mommy's, have the baby, have her new boyfriend, everything be fine. Well, now she's sitting in a jailhouse. And when she goes to court, she's going to be in prison. So make no mistake, they have failed these children. Yes, they have. But they can't afford to do it again. So I'm quite sure that they're going to only say what they can back up. And if it's like what I'm thinking, and when I said everything happens for a reason, just someone all of a sudden decided to take that trail in that type rural area and come up and find a skull of a little boy. Now, it may still have some tissue on it, it may not have. But once they got to rambling around there, they found the majority of the rest of it, I guess. Part of it's still in a sleeping bag. So there's big enough animals there. If they didn't put Lily in a shallow grave, then she could be miles away. And with animals, they can leave traces everywhere. What gets me is that they talk like she was I don't know, like she was just treated different than Jack. But I don't really see how. I mean, how you gonna put your 6-year-old daughter out on the front porch without any panties or nothing on for an hour or two because of wetting your britches and doing the same thing for Jack? You know, that's harsh punishment right there. But I guess they rather do that than get the beating. I guess. But I've got a hunch, and that's it. I've had enough of you. Kill it.
You guys are gonna fixing. You guys are fixing to witness JD smacking and killing a miller bug.
Now this is just a hunch, but I could be wrong, or I may not. Hey, Hollow Girl. Um, like I said, we've not been hearing anything from Daniel. We've not been hearing anything from any of them. From any of them. Especially not Dirt Nuts. And now this may be far fetched, then again, it may be right on it. I don't know. A hole in one. I believe he wanted Daniel out of the picture, out of the way. Okay. And I believe since he drove there, he knowed where they put him. Well, if they put Lily anywhere near close to where they had put Jack, then he knowed the spot. So why was they another 2 rounds of the same truck going around? What I'm thinking, and it's just an idea. It's just an idea. He could have went back and moved them children. They could still been on the bank somewhere on that little ridge up next to the trail. If so, that's what set it off. Because if Daniel would have went back there to make sure them kids was there, he would have did it at a time that he thinks nobody would be watching. Period. And then if they wouldn't, then that's when he went haywire. And that's when he started confessing about what Malaya's doing, what this one did, what that one did, families clashing and all. That stuff was going on for a long time before any of this ever even come about. So that's no front page news. I mean, people need to grow the hell up. What we do as an adult, hey, love, what we do as an adult, if we have children, grandchildren, whatever, that reflects on our children, and they're the ones usually that gets hurt the most. You know, even in old custody battles, you know, children love both. And some of them just don't know no better. Well,
Grubbed. Every version of events was rechecked again and again. The timeline was too clean, too narrow. Something didn't add up. And then quiet. The case stalled. Press conferences ended. The mother stopped answering questions. Her boyfriend vanished from public view. People moved on. Until this morning, 8:37 a.m., when a man walked into an RCMP detachment and asked to speak to someone in homicide.
Now this is
low. He didn't ask for a lawyer. He didn't want protection. He just sat down, trembling, and said, "I can't carry it anymore." And just like that, the story broke open, not in the forest, but in the silence between two people who had spent 3 months pretending nothing was wrong. Before the headlines, before the searches, before the silence, there was just a house, modest, worn, tucked deep into the brush off Gyerlock Road in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. The kind of place you drive past and for
And that makes me think Nova Scotia. Whoever that was the other day that I ended up blocking from the show, it was a name and then at and then something other Nova Scotia.
Mm.
And I know right then that that dog wasn't going to hunt. And as soon as I said something, the person jumped off. Well, before they could jump off, I blocked them from the channel. Because they're trying to say that that's not true, that uh, none of them have anything to do with it. It was false, giving out false information. Well, if I'm giving out false information, you prove to me that I'm giving out false pretenses, and then let's see who comes out on top. Or if you know so much, prove it. Just prove it. All you got to do. I've said it 1,000 times. Show me a video of these children having a good time and it have a current date to it. Everything will be fine. They can't do it. Yeah, they try to blame everybody. Annie said she sent you something on Messenger.
Yeah.
What does it say? Yeah. Doing okay, Kathy. CTV. CTV is still putting out false information.
So what I was telling you about earlier.
That's what this is. She's talking about right here. Giving out false information. Well,
Road in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. The kind of place you drive past and forget a second later. Weather-beaten siding, one swing in the yard, toys scattered like breadcrumbs, kids at the edge of the yard, never far from the trees, posts, no photos, TVs. Every inch of that a pickup truck belonging to Logan. But no one said anything yet, not publicly, not even to Maleha. By the 5th day, public interest swelled into national attention. Missing posters, candlelight vigils, interviews, hashtags. The RCMP held daily press briefings with little to report. They called it an active missing persons investigation. Then came Logan. For the first 4 days, Logan had been seen helping search crews, quiet, torn at the heel, stuffed behind a furnace. No blood, no bodies. Forensics recovered only fragments, screenshots of children's clothing, a map marked with a pin labeled "Quiet Spot," and a half-written note in Logan's phone that read, "She said they'd be better off." It ended there. What raised the most concern, however, wasn't what was missing, it was what didn't fit. Surveillance footage from a neighbor's property, a small camera pointed toward the main road, captured a clear, uninterrupted view of the Sullivan driveway between 10:30 and 12 on May 2nd, the time frame in which Malaya said she stepped inside and the children disappeared. No one entered, no one exited. Not on foot, not in a car. The only movement seen in that window was the wind tugging to the Sullivan home with renewed interest. Then years moved on. The forest had been picked clean, alone. She said Jack had fallen, said he wasn't breathing, said they couldn't call anyone. He said he went downstairs, saw Jack lying on a blanket, still, pale. There were no visible injuries, just silence. He said she was calm, too calm, that she asked him to help move the body, that she promised no one would understand, that it would ruin everything. He told investigators they wrapped Jack in a sleeping bag and waited until.
See, that tell you right there that they cared more for their dope doing than they did for their children. Period. Because this would ruin everything. And the only thing they had going was a good dope scheme going.
3 a.m. to carry him into the woods behind the house. He led them to the tree line, past the ravine, past the old hunting shack. He pointed to a spot near a cluster of moss-covered stones and said, "We left him there." When they returned, he said Lily had woken up, had come looking for them, had asked where her brother was. He said Malaya looked her daughter in the eyes and said, "He ran away." And that was the last thing she said to her. When investigators asked what happened next, Logan didn't answer for a long time. He just stared at the wall. Then he whispered, "I don't know where she took her." Logan's confession didn't bring closure. It brought something else, a map of deception, a trail of complicity. She waited until Logan came home. She said she told him what happened, that he panicked, that she panicked, that they both started talking in circles. She said she told him they'd take both kids away, that no one would believe it was an accident, that she couldn't go back to court again. There had been a custody case, quiet, sealed, never reported, but it had left her on edge, terrified of losing everything. Logan, according to her, said nothing, just stared at Jack's body, and then nodded. What followed, Malaya described as a blur. She said Logan wrapped Jack in a sleeping bag. She gathered the clothes he'd been wearing that day, his favorite red shirt, the one with the dinosaur. She put it in the dryer to erase the scent. Then later, in a fire pit behind the house,
Yes. Tell me how this is fixing to make sense. She took his clothes that he was wearing. Okay. She dries them with dryer sheets to try to get a smell off of it. If he had not been laying in a basement or a closet, both things have been mentioned, it would take 3 or 4 days for it to really start going ahead and getting in a smell, depending on the temperature they kept in the house. But to use that to dry the shirt, to get a smell out, there is a death smell when after 3 to 4 days, and it'll cling all through a house. Then take it out the dryer. Now this part I want to know. Then take it out the dryer and take it out back and burn it. Yeah. Why go through the trouble of thinking you can get the smell out of something, but then just turn around and burn it in the backyard? See, too many ups and downs, too many lies. No.
She burned it, watched the fabric curl into ash. She claimed Lily never knew that.
So why do it? Why dry it to get a smell off of something which ain't going to work. You'd have to, if it had no dead smell, they've been laying in for 3 or 4 days, 5 or more. You're going to take a lot more than a dryer to clear it up. But, just like she said, took it out back and burned it. And watched it burn. Where's the sense in this?
She was asleep the whole time, that she woke up to an empty bed and an empty morning, and that when she asked about Jack, she told her the same thing she told the police. He wandered off.
Now, did you catch that? The next morning, she asked about Jack, and she told her that he run off. Well, she just got through saying that after they got through hiding Jack's body, she was awake and was asking, "Where's Jack?" Now that she's changed her story to she's out there burning clothes for no telling how long, and then come morning time, then she wanted to know where Jack was at. So which one's which? You see what I'm saying? So many little bitty slip ups. That's where I say people need to listen to how something's being said instead of what's being said. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Investigators pressed her. What about Lily? Why didn't she tell someone? Why disappear completely? Malaya didn't answer. She said only this: I thought I had more time. When asked to draw a map of where Jack was left, her pen hovered over the paper for several seconds, and then she drew a curve, a sharp bend, a tree split in two by lightning, a rock shaped like a boot. It matched Logan's description exactly. The team moved out that same evening. By midnight, they had begun excavation, soil samples, ground penetrating radar, then a zipper from a child's sleeping bag. There was no ceremony, no discovery shouted to cameras, just silence. A perimeter was drawn, a tarp erected, and the slow, grim process of cataloging what was left. Malaya.
Now, did you hear that? It took them a while to collect what was left. See what I'm talking about? Animals, if he was in her, if they were laid up, scrunched up in a closet or whatever, for a period of time, in the basement for a period of time, which they claimed they did, it would start with decay. There's no sleeping bag going to keep animals out. Okay. So now the only thing different in this right here being said is they got out the most that they could get out of it. So there's possibilities since Jack's skull was up on top of a little hill there going on the trail. Well, an animal could have took majority of the other parts of the body and just went any which way. Well, if they come back and they seen that, then most definitely they could have laid uh, Lily around down in there somewhere, and they know that the animals would take care of it, and they wouldn't have to worry with it no more. But you still got one thing to think about. Until an animal does come by, you got rigor mortis, you got body fluids, all that combined together is going to draw animals quick. So even he was in a sleeping bag, the majority could have just been just everywhere. But both his and her, some of their clothing were scattered around under some dirt and leaves and whatnot that they found right there in that area. So, and she said she didn't have enough time. I guess the sun was fixing to come up.
Was taken into custody. Not charged, not yet. But the shift was irreversible because her secret had never been about what happened. It was about what she let happen. Next 48 hours moved with grim efficiency. Forensic teams confirmed the remains, partially decomposed, fragmented by weather and wildlife, were consistent with the estimated age and timeline of Jack Sullivan.
Consisted, the decay, the clothing, the age resemblance. So basically, now viewer discretion is advised here. They, in their mind, probably had a process thought that if they put them in a shallow grave or, whatever, they didn't want to take as much time. And the reason I can guarantee you, the reason they did not take the time to do Lily's digging a hole is because it was getting too close for the sun to come up. So they run out of time, and just they could have just left the body there. If that's the case, then already rigor mortis, already decay, body fluids, um, animals would had a king's night feast, you see. And just, I believe what they're trying to say is when they told us they, from our CMP, I'm sure y'all remember, it was them that was talking that time. It wasn't a YouTuber. Said that they would tell us some things, but not everything because it could go against the court system. Yeah. Well, a lot of them children are found up along that pipeline trail. 6 of them so far. They still like 4 more. Well, that's missing. So if that's what had happened, all right, they kind of pulled him. The animals would have pulled him out of that sleeping bag. That sleeping bag would have been tore all to pieces, and sounds to me like wolves. And that may be why they found a zipper from the sleeping bag. But they also, RCMP said at one point in time, said that they found some of Lily's pink jacket or coat there scrambled up under some stuff as well. So if they were running out of time, and she says her comment is, I thought we would have more time. Well, then they would have just left her there. So basically, yes, just our coyotes just took them out to the woods and just let nature take its course. That's the only thing that out of all this is making sense of. But it's confessions, you say. And with confessions come charges. With these kind of things, yes. And Kodiak bears, grizzlies, all sorts of things, yes. Uh, they they've already been charged. They're in the jailhouse, but they're waiting on something. They're still either waiting for one more piece of something or for someone to say something that would just have it like that. Right now, everybody's going to be against Dirt Nuts because he's the one who ratted them out. And I bet he tried to say, look, he probably tried to con Logan as well. You say this, say that, this and that, and other. Well, he probably got tired of it. They said he had a lot on his shoulders. He wanted to tell. So, yes, there's no really other way to see this. If you want to get really and truly rid of a body and it looked like, you know, that they wandered off, died, animals took them and all this, that would be the way to go about it. But they may be something, just some little something, some part that they need to make sure it could be from the well when they talked about that the kids have been dismembered. Now they may need a part to say, okay, this was a saw, this was a knife, this was a machete, or this was animal doings. They, yeah, yeah, they just need that one, piece. That could be the only thing they need. Um, because when they come out about it and talked about finding Jack like that, they said it was dismembered because the head had been moved and the sleeping bag being torn all to pieces. And if Lily wasn't in a sleeping bag, well, that'd be like having a big old fence wrapped around your backyard with a bunch of old mean pit bulls that's done had a taste of human blood, and you just take and throw a couple children out there. Same difference. Mm. So there's too much pending against them. Um, uh, it would be, like I said, premeditated, uh, especially on Lily's behalf. Um, and for just Jack's, um, you know, for um, Logan, it was just tampering with evidence, something about with a corpse and uh, holding evidence and all this good stuff. So his butt's gonna be burnt. Um, but he wanted to get it off his shoulders, and I don't blame him. I'd want to tell it too, get it off of me. But the, that's why people are still trying to twist it up and say this and say that. And like you said, that CCTV junk just it's just a bunch of bull just to get publicity. And that is one thing that everybody needs to make sure that they don't do. Don't pay no attention to them old stupid things and let people see, hey, okay, they're not interested, because we're just telling nonsense. Mm, that's right.
The sleeping bag, the soil composition, even the broken zipper found beneath a layer of kind mulch all pointed to one thing. The child had not wandered off. He had been placed there. With Logan's signed statement and Malaya's partial admission, RCMP filed for formal arrest. August 8th, 6:42 a.m. Malaya Sullivan was taken into custody at her home. She was still in pajamas. No struggle, no comment. She didn't ask why. She did.
You know why she didn't ask why? She's been taken to the jailhouse. Do you actually know why? Oh, they did. They did. Uh, in her room and in the shed. Uh, she's done admitted that. That's right. That's right. Sometimes you just got to think of the simplest things first. She knows because right at that time she's like, okay, okay, Daniel and Logan done went and told on me. That's why she pretty much walked out there and got in the cop car by herself. Pretty much, they said. Um, uh, but they got her for uh, uh, what murder warrant or let's
Didn't
see.
ask what they had found. She simply turned off the stove, handed her neighbor the keys, and walked to the cruiser without shoes. Logan, meanwhile, had already been placed in protective custody, his emotional state described in the initial report as, quote, fragile but coherent, unquote. His status shifted from witness to co conspirator within hours.
Yeah,
Charges were announced by noon: obstruction of justice, interference with human remains, neglect leading to death, manslaughter, still
nice.
under investigation, pending autopsy confirmation.
Right,
The media.
right there, right there. Still under investigation on how. Okay, see what one thing's holding it up, and this probably will make perfect sense to you. Okay, y'all know the day that Jack actually spoke up and said, he wet his britches. He was whipped and choked. That that's the time when she threw him around in that bathroom. That broke his little old neck. Now, maybe, just maybe, what they need is more of torso to see where, if it was broken, if it was bitten, say like by a wolf or a bear, it would have that uh, indention of that on the bottom and the top part. Where it just severs the head, it'd still be on top of the spine. You could tell the difference. Or where if it was a saw or just a hatchet or an axe, whatever. Um, with him being jerked out of that sleeping bag and only some left in it, well, hell, it could be 1,000 miles away, but now But what's left matches his DNA. So it's definitely him. They confirmed that. And that's why they went ahead and got her for the murder, and uh, it'll play out where if he Logan gets it for murder, uh, if he sat there and watched, and uh, uh, Daniel, he'll get murder one, and if it's been mutilated beforehand, then you know that's a whole nother different story. But either way, they're ruined. They'll never get Meadow back. They'll never see home again. They're done. They are done.
Frenzy that followed was immediate and ruthless. For days, news choppers circled the forest site. Reporters swarmed the small town of Lansdowne Station, speaking to neighbors, family members, even children from Lily's school. The public demanded answers. How could two children go missing from a rural home in daylight without a single neighbor seeing anything?
Yeah.
How could the mother appear on national television asking for help, knowing what had already happened?
Yeah.
Some saw a woman pushed to the edge, battered by isolation, overwhelmed.
Did y'all see how the other day when I was watching Daniel's mom, and she was ready to jump out her seat from these questions being asked. You see how quick she was to say, pretty much he's a good boy. He don't do this or that. He's all right. He may get a little ill from time to time, but everybody does. Just trying to throw everything off easy and make her out to be a good grandma. Well, good grandma, according to the children, wasn't so nice. That's rain, ain't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's more actually like pouring.
Well, if you rolled your side of the truck window up,
I never rolled it down.
you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're the one that rolled it down, not me.
Not on your side, I didn't.
On your own side, you did.
Oh, I always roll mine up. So they try to make herself look good, and it ain't doing no good.
By custody battles, consumed by fear. Others saw something else, a quiet calculation, a controlled cover up, the kind of silence that takes days to construct. What became increasingly clear was this: Jack's death may have been an accident, but the aftermath wasn't. Investigators recovered burned children's clothing from the fire pit. Partially melted polyester fibers confirmed to match what Jack had worn in earlier photos.
Hey.
Lily's status, however, remained a void. No remains, no sightings, no definitive evidence she was ever taken into the woods with her brother. This uncertainty widened the scope of the case. RCMP began treating it not just as a cover-up, but a potential two-child death investigation. A second site was ordered for search, northwest of the original location, based on inconsistencies in Malaya's testimony. The town, small, cold, inward-facing, began to split down the center. Some held candlelight vigils.
All right, so with that being said right there, I think what had been found, the majority of it that was found was probably moved again by Daniel and Logan, or Daniel and their nuts. I believe they may have moved these children closer to home and done a deeper little grave, you know what I mean? And covered it up and put a good patch of grass on top of it and made it look normal. But I'm surprised that they didn't come up saying that they went camping and a bear come down. or something like that. That's kind of what I figured they would come to, but they didn't. So, well, they did say a bear probably come in the house and got them, but that's here nor there either one. But uh, either way, they're burnt.
Others blocked off their driveways, refusing reporters. The local church opened its doors for grief counseling. Meanwhile, online forums erupted in theories. Was Logan more involved than he claimed? Had Lily ever been seen after May 1st? Why did Malaya's phone go dark for 3 days after the 911 call? In courtroom sketches, Malaya sat in silence, cheekbones sharp from weight loss, her eyes hollow but dry. Logan, in a separate proceeding, refused to make eye contact with anyone. The prosecution was preparing to file new charges. The defense hadn't spoken publicly, and still, no one could answer the question on every screen, every headline, every whispered conversation at the grocery store. Where was Lily? The silence that once cloaked Lansdowne Station had shattered. Outside the courthouse in Halifax, protesters lined the concrete steps, some holding signs that read, "Monsters hide in plain sight," others pleading, "Malaya deserves help, not hate." Inside Facebook groups and parenting forums, the public split violently. One side saw a terrified woman, unwell and overwhelmed, caught in the grip of untreated depression.
You go hide your child after murdering the child, and people ought to show them sympathy? No. That dog won't hunt.
The other saw a manipulator, stone cold, willing to let her own children vanish into the woods to preserve a fragile facade. Malaya Sullivan appeared in court for arraignment on August 10th. Her plea? Not guilty to all charges. She wore no makeup. Her hands trembled when she adjusted the microphone. But when asked to confirm her identity, her voice was clear, composed, almost too composed. Logan was arraigned the following day, in a separate proceeding. He pled guilty to obstruction and interference with human remains, but his lawyer insisted he was coerced, psychologically manipulated by a woman he felt responsible for saving. The prosecution laid out its case with surgical precision. They argued that Malaya was not overtaken by panic, but guided by self-preservation. That after Jack collapsed, likely from blunt force trauma to the abdomen, she had an opportunity to call for help. She did not.
If you fall down a set of stairs, 9 times out of 10, well, 9 plus out of 10, your knees, your hands, your elbows, such as that, palms of your hand is going to be scuffed up. But falling downstairs really wouldn't give you that much blunt trauma just on your abdomen. Because even a child would be trying to brace himself, catch himself. So that don't add up either.
Ed, they said, she staged a disappearance, fabricated a timeline, deleted data, burned the clothing, sat in front of the cameras and begged for help, knowing full well where Jack's body lay decomposing in the pines. Her defense attorney presented a different picture. A young woman raised in trauma, a history of domestic violence long before Logan, multiple ER visits, symptoms of post-traumatic stress, potential postpartum psychosis never diagnosed after Lily's birth. They introduced old journal entries recovered from a previous phone backup. In one, dated 6 months before the disappearance, Malaya had written, "Sometimes I think they'd be better off without me. I love them too much to ruin them." The trial became more than a legal proceeding. It became a referendum on motherhood, on mental health, on the silence between red flags and disaster. News anchors debated whether maternal instinct had been over-romanticized, whether society knew how to recognize the face of a mother in crisis when she didn't look like one. Every detail became ammunition in the cultural crossfire. Why did no school report Lily's absence until a week after the 911 call? Why did neighbors ignore the sounds of screaming that night? Why did Logan stay silent for 96 days? And what about Lily? With no body recovered, her fate became both mystery and metaphor, an open wound in the trial and in the town. Parents cried outside the courtroom. Mental health activists rallied on courthouse steps. An online fundraiser for legal fees raised nearly $40,000.
If they were burning clothing and was seen burning kids' toys, plastic stuff, wonder what all could have been under all that plastic and clothing and stuff. Just an idea.
Finally explain months of unanswered questions. But it's what a surveillance camera captured that has investigators on high alert. A shadowy figure moving deliberately through the dense underbrush, carrying items that are being urgently analyzed. Every movement in the footage raises more questions than answers. Who is this person? Were they alone? How long were Lily and Jack in this isolated area? And most importantly, what really happened to them? The camera shows only fleeting glimpses, faces obscured by shadows, the canopy of trees casting darkness over every detail. Yet every second of this footage could be the critical clue that breaks this case wide open. Families, investigators, and the community have been waiting for answers, and now the truth could be hidden somewhere in the deep forest. Here on this channel, we are fully committed to bringing you the truth. Stay with us as we uncover tirelessly, combing streets, parks, and even the surrounding forests. But for weeks, no solid trace of the children emerged. The siblings were last seen near their home, innocent and unaware that danger was closing in. Investigators initially followed every possible clue, talking to witnesses, reviewing local security footage, and mapping out the children's usual routes. But the trail quickly went cold. Weeks of searching brought frustration, truths. If you've been following this story, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Review the surveillance footage. Every second seems to thicken the mystery surrounding Lily and Jack Sullivan. The camera, located deep within a remote, heavily wooded area far from roads, neighbors, and prying eyes, captured a figure moving with deliberate caution. The forest is nearly impenetrable. Thick underbrush scrapes across the figure's body, twisted branches snap underfoot, and the rustling leaves seem to whisper secrets long buried. The figure pauses frequently, as if checking for observers before continuing deeper into the shadows. What makes the footage particularly chilling is the possibility that this person could be someone familiar, someone who may know the family or live nearby in the neighborhood. Investigators stress that no identification has been confirmed yet, but the figure's posture, gait, and movements suggest familiarity with the terrain, with the woods themselves seeming almost like a known territory. Every step the suspect takes seems purposeful, measured, and eerily confident, as if they have been there before. The object carried by the figure has raised serious concerns. While grainy footage makes it impossible to identify with certainty, authorities are treating it as a potential clue, critical to understanding what happened to the children. Every movement could reveal connections, motives, and secrets that have remained hidden for months. The environment adds another layer of suspense. The dense canopy above filters sunlight into slivers, creating long, shifting shadows that silence of the woods. Each step seems to pull investigators closer to answers, and yet the mystery deepens. The shadowy figure in the footage moves with a familiarity that suggests they may know the terrain well. And do you think the family knows more than they've said? Could someone close to the children be involved? Drop your thoughts in the comments box below and tell us what's treacherous, with underbrush clawing at every step, shadows stretching long under the canopy, and fallen branches making each movement a careful calculation, fearful and desperate for answers. Investigators are combing the forest meticulously. Jack Sullivan. Broken twigs, faint footprints, and scattered debris hint at a path, yet the forest seems to conspire to hide the truth, with every angle revealing more mystery than answers. In addition to the footage, investigators uncover items that could prove critical. Objects partially buried in leaves, disturbed foliage, and traces of movement that suggest someone has been navigating the forest with purpose and knowledge. Each discovery raises as many questions as it answers. Could these be connected to the children? Are they
Could be connected with, yeah, that could be connected with Lily, uh, moving her through that way. Uh, they now there's a possibility that after they took Jack where they did and thought, well, you know, if if they're both together and found, it looked too suspicious. But if they got lost from one another, you know, and say animal pulled them up and pulled them here and there, they could use an excuse that, that they was out and about in the woods and, they got lost. But anybody with common sense know that's not right. But there's no way that they don't have Lily's DNA on something. But like I said, they're either waiting on to find a piece of something, or either some else said, one or the other. And two, like the coroner said, just waiting for, you know, to be able to find out how. And that would, yes. Uh-huh. And, like I said, where if it was from an animal, a saw, because if it's an animal, it would have some cut marks in the bone. Um, a saw would be totally different. Um, so they want to make dang sure that they're correct, because RCMP cannot fail again. If they do, it's going to ruin their image from here out.
remnants of the suspect's passage or something more sinister? Every detail is meticulously documented, photographed, and analyzed because officials know that even the smallest clue could shift the course of the investigation. Adding to the tension, conflicting leads are emerging. While the footage suggests a figure with possible ties to the neighborhood or family, are beginning to piece together a clearer, though the investigation is moving faster than ever, yet the forest continues to challenge her to understanding what really happened. The truth is coming. Are part of this investigation. The stakes could not be higher. Families, authorities, and communities are all waiting for answers, and every development could bring them closer to understanding. They tell us the woods are quiet, peaceful, a place to heal, a place to escape. But they forget that forests also bury secrets, and sometimes those secrets have names. On August 8th, 2025, the forest finally spoke. Hidden beneath pine needles, tangled brush, and the weight of silence were the lifeless bodies of two children, Lily and Jack Sullivan, aged just 6 and 4. They didn't run away.
Did you hear that?
They tell us the woods are quiet, peaceful, a place to heal, a place to escape. But they forget that forests also bury secrets, and sometimes those secrets have names. On August 8th, 2025, the forest finally spoke. Hidden beneath pine needles, tangled brush, and the weight of silence were the lifeless bodies of two children, Lily and Jack Sullivan, aged
Hmm.
just 6 and 4. They didn't run away. They didn't vanish into thin air. They were left, or led, or maybe even hunted. But one thing is certain: what was found there will haunt even the most seasoned investigators. This isn't just a story about missing children, it's a story about failure. A failure so profound, it echoes in the trees where their small bodies were found. This is the case of Lily and Jack Sullivan, and this is what the forest was hiding. What the.
This right here is what the hiker reported and what RCMP seen and found. Huh. Uh, well, listen to that.
They tell us the woods are quiet, peaceful, a place to heal, a place to escape. But they forget that forests also bury secrets, and sometimes those secrets have names. On August 8th, 2025, the forest finally spoke. Hidden beneath pine needles, tangled brush, and the weight of silence were the lifeless bodies of two children, Lily and Jack Sullivan, aged just 6 and 4. They didn't run away. They didn't vanish into thin air. They were left, or led, or maybe even hunted. But one thing is certain: what was found there will haunt even the most seasoned investigators. This isn't just a story about missing children, it's a story about failure. A failure so profound, it echoes in the trees where their small bodies were found. This is the case of Lily and.
Where their bodies were found. Well, probably viewer discretion is advised. Probably what was left of the bodies. Maybe that's what they're waiting on, is see if they can find more. It's a possibility. I mean, it's kind of really come together that what Lily said, it just unfolded right there. So, regardless, I have to take the kid's word for it. But and that's what Lily said. Could have been, or they just wanted to wipe them away from society for everything. That way, if they ever had to go to the live on the reservation, then they could get all that kind of stuff done over there, and it wouldn't have nothing to do with over here. So, I mean, in Canada.
Jack Sullivan, and this is what the forest was hiding. What the hiker found in the forest will haunt you: the Lily and Jack Sullivan case. Let's talk about Lily and Jack, but not just their disappearance. Let's talk about who they were before headlines turned them into symbols of everything that went wrong. Lily was 6, bright, talkative, a natural caretaker. She liked strawberries, butterflies, and bossing her little brother around like only big sisters can. Jack was 4, curious, clumsy, loud when he shouldn't be, and utterly inseparable from his dinosaur boots. He'd run off if you blinked, but always ran back. They lived in a quiet patch of Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, a forgotten sliver of rural Canada where you can go hours without seeing another soul. They were raised by their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, and her partner, Daniel Martel, a man who would later face scrutiny the public wasn't ready to hear. On May 1st, the kids were kept home from school, sick supposedly. May 2nd, they were last seen playing in the yard, and then they were gone. The mother claimed she was asleep. Lily entered the bedroom briefly. Jack made noise in the kitchen. It was morning. Normal. And then silence. At 10 o'clock a.m., the 911 call went out. The children had disappeared. No Amber Alert was issued. Authorities believed they'd wandered off. Just two children playing in the woods. But by the time search crews arrived, the forest had already swallowed them. You're listening to this now because they can't speak for themselves. Don't let their story vanish with them. Hit subscribe. Keep their names alive. After 3 months, a discovery deep in those woods would shatter any illusion that this was just a tragic accident and expose one of the most disturbing scenes Nova Scotia has ever witnessed. What do we expect from a missing children's case? Mobilization. Urgency. A response that screams, "We will not rest until they're found." But what Lily and Jack Sullivan got was something else entirely. Within hours of their disappearance, over 200 volunteers flooded the woods around their home. Locals, strangers, veterans, everyone who could hold a flashlight or a walkie-talkie showed up. The RCMP brought in helicopters, K9 units, thermal drones, and mounted officers. On paper, it looked like a full-scale rescue operation, but the terrain, it wasn't kind. Hurricane Fiona had ripped through the region just 2 years prior. The RCMP called it a missing persons case. No Amber Alert, no presumption of dog, and what appeared to be a girl's water bottle. The public panicked, but the family denied they belonged to their kids. The items they claimed weren't theirs. The police stayed quiet. Still, no sign of forced entry at the home. No neighbors saw anything. And somehow, no cameras caught a single frame of them leaving. And yet no Amber Alert. That's when the whispering began. In living rooms, in comment sections, across bar counters and too. And then, a dog barked, a man screamed, and the forest gave up its secret. August 8th, 2025, the day the forest finally spoke. A man and his dog, hiking a barely marked trail outside Lansdowne Station. Mid-morning, clouded sky. The kind of day where sound disappears into the trees. He was looking for solitude. Instead, he found something that would ruin him. At first, he thought it was animals. Two shapes curled together beneath a thicket of pine and dead leaves, small, still, almost peaceful. He called out. Nothing moved. He stepped closer. What he saw next, he says he'll never forget. Two children, curled together like they were asleep. Clothes faded from weather. Skin pale. Lips blue. Eyes.
Now you see why I get so pissed off when people start making these videos to get views for themselves. They don't give a flip about these kids. They want to get them views, make them dollars. Now, Rose plainly told me, and I would believe her and them children over any of them. What did she say? She said they did look very sickly, and that they were turning blue. Yeah, and I can get that paperwork out right now, and I can show you where it says that. Listen to that again.
For solitude. Instead, he found something that would ruin him. At first, he thought it was animals. Two shapes curled together beneath a thicket of pine and dead leaves, small, still, almost peaceful. He called out. Nothing moved. He stepped closer. What he saw next, He says he'll never forget. 2 children, curled together like they were asleep, clothes faded from weather, skin pale, lips blue, eyes closed. No blood, no bruising, just stillness. They were found roughly 3 kilometers from their home, deep in thick, unwalkable brush, a section of forest previously cleared by search crews. But somehow, no one had seen them. No drag marks, no disturbed earth, no broken branches, and more disturbingly, no footprints leading in or out. When our CMP arrived, the scene was described as undisturbed. No visible signs of trauma, no forced movement, just 2 small bodies.
Do you think that may be why it was said by accordingly Daniel that it didn't matter what they looked like, they had plenty of time to heal before they went back to school? You remember that statement he made? When they started talking about the black eyes and whatnot, said it wouldn't matter. They'd have time to heal before they had to go back to school. Well, let's just see.
They were never supposed to be. Forensic teams worked fast. Helicopters circled again. The perimeter was sealed, but the damage to finality had already arrived. Lily and Jack Sullivan were dead. Autopsy reports would later suggest the cause of death was exposure. Time of death? Between 24 to 36 hours after they disappeared. That means they may have died within the first night, or the second at most. There were no signs of restraint, no drugs in their system, no broken bones, no bruises, just a cold. They hadn't been attacked, they hadn't been abused, they had vanished, and then they had frozen to death, side by side. A fictionalized quote from the coroner reads, like a eulogy more than a report. They died side by side, cold, alone, but together. And just like that, the RCMP issued a public statement. Quote, "At this time, there is no indication of criminality." They repeated the theory.
No. So that's off. The only truth in that was that they were sickly and they were changing color. Captain something, whoever wrote this one or edited this one. But so far, that was the only truth in the matter. But I do remember a remark saying that they didn't care because they would have plenty enough time to heal before they had to go back to school. But with them saying that they had no marks on them, no bruising, no nothing, that's not correct. That is not correct.
The children likely wandered into the woods, became disoriented, and succumbed to the elements. An accident. But if this was an accident, why were people so angry? Because the public didn't buy it. How do 2 toddlers walk 3 kilometers through impassable forest? How does an entire search force, with drones, dogs, and thermal imaging, miss the exact spot where their bodies would be found untouched, undisturbed just days later? Were they really there the whole time? Or were they put there after? Did someone stage the scene? Were they hidden somewhere else and then placed back in the woods to mimic exposure? Or
that would make more sense. That would have been Dernut's doings. Maybe they was tricking us out for a second, but maybe they're getting back on track here. Yeah. That would have been Durwood's doings there, removing the children. Because they already searched that place and then went back again. I don't know if it was on their second or third go in or what, but Thermal didn't pick them up. If thermal did not pick them up, I don't care if they're under leaves or not, then they were not there. With a good thermal, you can see behind these what's in these walls. Yeah. So let's just see if this changes any.
Worse, did someone know exactly where they were and chose to wait? If you think this ends with exposure, think again. The official story may comfort some, but not those who think. Subscribe now or comment below and explain why you're okay with the unexplained. And if the cause was really exposure, then why? Were there no footprints leading in and none leading out? So now we ask, what do we know? We know 2 children, Lily, 6, Jack, 4, disappeared from their home on May 2nd, 2025. We know they were found 6 days later, lifeless, curled together in the woods. We know that same forest had already been searched, not once, but multiple times. We know there was no trauma, no injuries, no evidence of abduction, no blood, no signs of restraint, just stillness. And we know this. No one has been arrested. The RCM calls it a tragedy, not a crime. But here's what we still don't know. How did they get 3 kilometers into the woods without a single adult seeing them? Why wasn't the location found sooner, when search dogs and helicopters had already passed it? Why didn't the canine units train to track even...
Rose said they seen a plane. Probably talking about a helicopter. And matter of fact, Jack said helicopter. He didn't put helicopter, he just put helicopter. Yeah. Now there's some truth in that, but there's more lies in this than truth.
Faintest scent. Find 2 small children lying dead in open air? And if it really was just a case of wandering, why would 2 kids move deeper and deeper into a dangerous forest rather than turn back? Or maybe the better question is, did they walk at all? Psychological theories began to surface in private groups, among experts, on forums, in back channels. If the children truly wandered away, what were they running from? And if someone placed them there, why go to such lengths to stage a death without any violence? No rent.
So they could get the money. They gonna rent.
No demands, no digital trail, just death. One former profiler put it like this: sometimes evil doesn't need a motive, just an opportunity. Online, the theories exploded. Some claim this was a botched investigation from day one, that the...
And saying that there were no broken bones, that's a dadgum lie. That was a lie.
RCM mismanaged resources, ignored warning signs, and failed to issue an Amber Alert when it mattered most. Others suggest something darker, a cover-up. The timeline is inconsistent. Phone records still unreleased, surveillance data missing, statements sealed. They point to one fact no one can explain. The children were found in an area that had already been searched. Some say the RCM missed it. Others say the children were never there to begin with. There are no official suspects. The case, as of now, remains open, but quiet. If this was your child, would you want people scrolling past their names?
If this case was, you know, just plainly over with, then we could all done been sitting here watching all of them's sentencing. So we know that's a daggum lie. We know that Jack had a broken neck. That's a day, with them saying they didn't have no bruising or broke bones. That's a lie.
What, not all lies?
The only truth that they've even spoke that, like I said, Rose said, is that they was very sickly and was turning blue. Yeah,
Scribe, keep talking, because this case isn't closed, just buried. There is no peace for the living when justice is denied to the dead. And for their mother, peace is a memory she no longer owns. In an interview weeks after the funeral, she said something that froze the hearts of everyone who read it.
After what funeral? After what funeral?
I still set out to bowls every morning. I don't know how to stop. And then a dog barked, a man screamed, and the forest gave up its secret. August 8th, 2025, the day the forest finally spoke. A man and his dog hiking a barely marked trail outside Lansdowne Station. Mid-morning, clouded sky. The kind of day where sound disappears into the trees. He was looking for solitude. Instead, he found something that would ruin him. At first, he thought it was animals. Two shapes curled together beneath a thicket of pine and dead leaves, small, still, almost peaceful. He called out. Nothing moved. He stepped closer. What he saw next, he says he'll never forget. Two children, curled together like they were asleep. Clothes faded from weather, skin pale, lips blue, eyes closed. No blood, no bruising, just stillness. They were found roughly 3 kilometers from their home, deep in thick, unwalkable brush, a section of forest previously cleared by search crews. But somehow, no one had seen them. No drag marks, no disturbed earth.
Now, there is one thing about for this bruising. Now, if this timeline is off from August 8th, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 6 days, that would done be already in decomp. That would be in decomposition already. And you wouldn't be able to tell no bruising during that decomp like that, unless you've seen a hematoma, and it's like where blood fills up, and you open the wound, you can get the clots out, and it looks like great jelly. Um, but if they were too bad decomped, then they probably couldn't have seen no bruising in the first place, and or if animals had been at them as well. So, mm,
No broken branches, and more disturbingly, no footprints leading in or out. When our CMP arrived, the scene was described as undisturbed. No visible signs of trauma, no forced movement, just two small bodies where they were never supposed to be. Forensic teams worked fast. Helicopters circled again. The perimeter was sealed.
and see too, another thing. When this first started off, it wasn't the hiker that just seen the bodies. He seen a skull, a head, and the authorities and RCMP is the one who got digging around on the bank and found a body or bodies. And if it was on the 8th and animals had to them and with a decay, yeah, they wouldn't have been able to see no bruising like that. Because it would, if animal got to it, it would only be pretty much bone. Yeah. But saying that there was no broken bones, that's a damn lie. But seeing the first one with him saying that he found the hiker found the skull, there's a broke bone. Hey, back. Okay. Uh, Saying that they found the skull up on the trail. So that was a broke bone because your skull's attached to your top vertebra. So that's a broke bone. Uh, but yeah, it's snapped little old Jack's neck when he was getting through around in the bathroom. Period. So
but the damage to finality had already arrived. Lily and Jack Sullivan were dead. Autopsy reports would later suggest the cause of death was exposure. Time of death? Between 24 to 36 hours after they disappeared. That means they may have died within the first night, or the second at most. There were no signs of restraint. No drugs in their system. No broken bones. No bruises. Just a cold. They hadn't been attacked. They hadn't been abused. They had vanished. And then they had frozen to death. Side by
yeah. Um, no broken bones. Nothing but froze to death. Um, and no bruising, no broke bone, uh, no abuse. Yeah, that somebody's doing the same thing. You got that right. Whoever that captain something other is that uploaded this video right here, you just as full of shit as these people speaking. So there you go.
side. A fictionalized quote from the coroner reads, like a eulogy more than a report. They died side by side. Cold. Alone. But together. And just like that, the RCMP issued a public.
And if the coroner would had already been done with autopsies, they their self would put that out to the public, not for some YouTuber. Could be, could be. I don't know. But yeah, I call crap on this too.
At this time, there is no indication of criminality. They repeated the theory.
No criminality, but yet they're locked up in the jailhouse. I guarantee the only ones that is trying to make light of the situation is some of the people that was doing the buying from Daniel, because they don't want him to stay up in the jailhouse because they lose their source of meth. So they do anything they can to try to keep him out of hot water, but that didn't work. This is a bunch of bull.
The children likely wandered into the woods, became disoriented, and succumbed to the elements. An accident. But if this was an accident, why were people so angry? Because the public didn't buy it. How do two toddlers walk 3 kilometers through impassable forest? How does an entire search force, with drones?
Even the searchers could not get through that. Hey, Beck, there was parts of that place that they couldn't even go through. One of them tried and got a stick plumb through the leg. They got it.
Dogs and thermal imaging missed the exact spot where their bodies would be found untouched, undisturbed just days later. Were they really there the whole time? Or were.
And did you notice in this whole clip right here, she didn't say nothing about Jack being up in a backpack. They were just found there on the bank. No backpack, no sleeping bag or nothing. So, no, that's wash. that that won't wash. Um, Let me try something here. What you doing? What you doing?
I got a whole setup over here.
No.
I'm
Good.
comfortable. I got snacks. I got a drink. Plus phone's on charger and I'm warm. Only thing I don't got is a bathroom.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Reaching out to Jack and Lily Sullivan. Jack and Lily Sullivan from Nova Scotia, Canada. Can you hear me? Jack and Lily Sullivan. Jack, Lily Sullivan. Can you hear me? Jack, Lily Sullivan. Can you hear me? Talk to me. I just heard a sound there. I couldn't make out nothing. Jack and Lily Sullivan. Can you can you talk to me? Jack, Lily. Yes, Jack. Jack and Lily Sullivan. They were big. I understand that. Let Jack and Lily. Dad, what? Jack and Lily Sullivan. Hear me. Shush. Did you say a coat? Lily, are you talking about a pink coat? Let the kids talk. I heard a little bitty yip in there. Lily Sullivan, I got a question for you, love. Lily Sullivan from Nova Scotia, Tennessee, from Nova Scotia, Canada. Yeah. I want to ask you a question, love. Has anyone found you? I'm not going to listen to nobody but her voice. Lily Sullivan. Got moved. Lily Sullivan. Can you wait? Lily Hang on a minute. Ransom. What? Hold on. If you don't stop them, turn it off. Lily Sullivan. Has anyone found you, love? Lily Sullivan. Has anyone found you? Jack, yeah. I heard Jack, yeah. I want to hear from you, Lily. I just need to know if you have been found. What's dirty? You? Lily, has any searchers found you? Rose, can you answer that question? Let me start off this way. Lily Sullivan. Was Jack put in a sleeping bag? Was Jack put in a sleeping bag? Yeah, I need an answer. Back, okay. So it was. Okay. If they found your brother Jack, has anyone found you? Lily, tell us, love. You said I something. She don't have to be afraid to say it. Listen, Lily, this is a safe place to talk about anything. Anything you want to talk about. Yeah. We just need to know if anyone has found you. I heard a nope. Lily, are you with Jack? Lily, are you with Jack, your brother? Lily, talk to me, love. Has anyone, let me ask you this a little different. Has anyone felt your body yet, Lily? And hang on. And if are you close to Jack? Wait a minute. Lily? Lily? Can you tell Lily, can you tell me who took your life? Lily Sullivan. Who took your life, love? I'm gonna name off some people, and if I name it correctly, will you say yeah? Lily? Today should I? Yes. Lily? Lily? Did Daniel take your life? Lily Sullivan. Did Logan take your life? Lily. Did Darren or Durwood take your life? Yeah. He has a lot of people, but I heard he did. That's good enough for me. Mom did, Jack? Yeah. Were you in there in the hall or somewhere when Mom was doing all that to Jack? Did you see it, Lily? Lily? Did you see? Lily, did you see what Mom did to Jack? I just heard you say Mom wouldn't help us. Yeah, you're safe here. From Annie, hey Lily and Jack, I love you very much. Kisses and hugs. Um, Lily, Lily, we need to know if authorities have your body. We've heard that they have definitely found your brother, and it would be awesome to know where if you have been found as well. Wait. So, Lily, it's okay to tell me if you've been found and or who ended your life. Wait a minute. So, are you saying in I know she didn't do it, and in the bathroom sick, yes, from being malnourished, yes, of course. Um, we Lily, we just need to know, love, if anyone has found you. Cold. It's called death, buddy. Um, you you said yes that time, but at first you said no, Lily. Which is it? You're not lying. Alice says you beautiful spirits are safe here. Listen, I know it may be because you don't want to get somebody in trouble, Lily. But I think I'm sure she was probably running a fever. I know what you saw. Okay, earlier you said nope. You don't have to feel bad about telling me what happened. Okay. We just need to know. But this time when I asked, have you been found? You said yep again. Can you tell me by who? Were you found by someone that was out walking some trails? with a red shirt. Oh, I'm going to ask this again, Lily. Were you found by someone that was walking up some trails? Wait. Lily, answer the question, love. Were you found by someone that was hiking up on a trail? He what, Rose? He did. Were you and Jack together when they found you guys? You did, Summer. Hang on. Lily? Lily? Were you ever wrapped up in anything? Like a burnt? What else was burnt that you noticed? Have you seen them burning any of your clothing? Yeah. Cruel Daniel. Yeah. And the mama. Yeah. Your discretion is advised here. I'm just going to ask you a question. They were burning you guys' toys. Did you see or feel them burning your things, Lily? Grandma, what? Lily, did you see or feel the things that they were burning? Y'all wait. Lily, did you see or feel them burning you guys' toys? Cook your toy. How you know it was your toy? Grandma something and you were hit in the forehead? I'm gonna ask you a question, Lily, and I need you to really, really focus here and let her answer this. Lily Sullivan. Wait. I'm finna turn it off. Wait. Lily Sullivan. Were you burned? Lily Sullivan. Were you burned? Lily, I need some verification here. Listen to me, love. I don't care what color it was. She said red, it'll be red. Listen. Lily Sullivan. Hang on. Lily Sullivan. Did this take place in the front yard or the backyard? Plain view. Let her speak. Lily, did this take place in the backyard? What about Mom? You said Mom wouldn't help. You said that guy there just said they tried everything on her. Yes. I am on live footage video, yes. Now, for the people, these are just questions that I'm asking these children. If I get an answer to them, then that's okay. If I don't, that's okay as well. But there's some things here that's leading up that could have been part of the process of trying to get rid of anything. And if you watched any other children's cases, you would know that by now. Um, I've seen it happen a million times. Um, where they take a child or a friend, they kill them and take them out in the backyard and, you know, pour gas all over them and throw some plastic on top of them and keep it burning all night. And this right here saying, cook my toy a coat. Yeah, sleeping bag. Nope, he did. Yep, yep. With red shirt, burnt. Yeah, did. Yeah. Um, there's no way that I would rule this out because it is very highly a good. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of potential there that's saying that this could be the thing. And you know, again, like I said, they might not want to put Jack and Lily together because that looked too suspicious. But on that last video clip we were listening to, every bit of that, except for them changing color and being blue, that's the only truth in that whole thing. The reason they may not have been able to find Lily and RCMP may have this suspicion as well. And if they got uh, permission, like a search warrant, that would be for the property and the home. And if they, this is not the first time that I've heard her say something about burnt. But I know she said something the other day about burning her toys. But it very well could be that, you know, in the backyard there, lay somebody there and put gas on everything and start throwing some plastic on there and keep it burning all night, and stuff. And then whenever it's done, get you a rake or whatever and smooth it all out, shift it up, and you know, that's that. And we can't rule that out. Didn't they say that they bought Lily a little toy kitchen where she could,
I believe so. I remember hearing something about that.
so she could play like she was
Yeah.
cooking?
Yeah, I remember something like that being said. So yeah.
Prayers for Lily and Jack, yes. Hey, Gene, Chris, you're always stay blessed. Bless you, love. Best of my knowledge, uh, she said that. She said they got me uh, a kitchen. And I believe that um, Daniel's mom mentioned uh, mentioned that too, getting her a kitchen to play in. And we all know too from prior ones that we've done on, especially ones that's been here a minute. Sometimes that don't do the job, if you know what I mean. Um, like one we've talked about before, they tried that several times, and it wouldn't work. It wasn't hot enough. Um, yeah. So maybe they found something there in the yard, and it'd be another heartbreaking piece, but having some evidence of it, and then if it didn't work and didn't get hot enough, and something be moved once it's cooled off, that could be what RCMP is waiting on. Because at this rate, I'm not going to rule anything out. I mean, I know what RCMP said about Jack, but whoever that one fella was that uploaded that one there said that they found Jack and Lily. And didn't have no bruises or nothing. That'd be a daggum lie. Now, if somebody was burnt to a crisp, of course, well, you ain't gonna know that if they had a burn. If decomp is set in so bad, you're still not gonna know if they had bruises or not. And then you got animals, so and they know that down there. Daniel knows that. They all know that down there. Talking about her coat. Uh, I cooked with my toy, but it took a minute to get it out. And if you uh, switch it around, like I said, sometimes you have to go backwards with what they tell you. And if you move this one around, it would say my cook toy, and that would be her little kitchenette thing. And then wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. They said Jack's red dinosaur shirt. She dried to get the smell out and then burnt. And we was talking about why in the world would you try to get the smell out of something and just turn around and burn it? And the guy said red shirt and then burnt. So either they just burnt her stuff and in spirit she's seen that they did it, and even her cook toy and her coat, that could be what she's talking about. And the rest of it be just left out for the elements. There's so many ways this thing can go. But see, if Jack was found on the 8th, from the, which they all know they already go a week prior, but they're going saying from the 2nd, from the 2nd to the 8th, that's plenty of time for a lot of decomp on a body. So, um, maybe they're just Maybe they're just waiting for someone to break just a little more or something. I don't know. But that whole thing we listen to is a damn lie because we know for a fact that they're all up in the jailhouse. Um, we just ain't heard nothing yet about where if the grandmas are in there. Um, and they're nuts. I don't know. I don't know if they've caught him yet or not. Um, with the comments that he made, um, they may find him up in a thicket somewhere if Daniel got a hold of him. Um, I don't, I don't know, guys. All we can do is go off what these children tell us, and I'm gonna believe them over any YouTube junk. Um, but prayingly, that's what she's talking about. That they burnt Jack's red shirt. Because we heard that plenty of time before. Talking about she burnt toys, and then tonight we heard about drying his clothes, and then burning them. Yeah, it's a waiting game now. Well, that's all I know to do for right now. Maybe we can go at it at a different angle tomorrow. I don't know. Y'all can think of something, let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, guys. Go stretch out a while. I love each and every one of you, and we'll see you tomorrow.